So I was traveling through South Dakota a few weeks ago, and something very interesting happened. There's two major lessons. The first is a testimony, and the second, actually both are testimonies, but the first is a testimony of God's, protection and provision and providence. So I was traveling through the state of South Dakota, and one of my first pieces of advice that I'll give you is that if you're traveling through from one city, one major city to another, or from one reservation to another reservation, you want to make sure that you have enough gas, that if you're at half tank, that you keep filling up to the full tank, keep getting gas when you can, and don't allow it to go below half. That's what I found out later on. But I was driving from one city to the other. I was working on one reservation, and as you know, I'm a medical physicist, so I was working at the hospital, and I finished what I was doing, spent the night in Rapid City. I think was that night, and then I was heading back out from Rapid City. And what was interesting is that I thought I would be able to get to a gas station before my car ran out of gas. So I just, I got to a point where I was like, I'm just going to go to the next gas station. However, I didn't realize that it would take a very long time before I would get to the next gas station. To cut the long story short, I got to a point where the car said, you're on empty, you have 0 miles, to empty essentially. So that was a problem. But I kept driving and hoping and praying for the best because there was nothing for the most part where I was. Eventually, I got to a gas station and my car actually died just about 20 feet from the pump. And so we thank God I got there, and then I went into the gas station, told the guys, and then they came out and helped me. I thank God for those guys. And one of them actually said, because I told him, I thank God for, getting me through to this point. And then he made a point about, yep, this is definitely a miracle. Your car could have stopped anywhere along the way, but it made it right to where it needed to get to. So I finished getting gas and I leave the gas station. And I decided to, not focus on the GPS immediately. I thought that the GPS had told me what to do before I pulled to the gas station. So instead of looking at the directions again, I just went thinking, I know my way, I got this. And that was where I ran into a second major problem. And this problem was actually somewhat worse than the first. Because what happened was, when I finally told the GPS to tell me what to do, it told me to take a gravel road. So I took the gravel road, and then the gravel road turned into a muddy road. So now the problem was I was driving in this territory where it got muddy, and my car, I wasn't driving a 4-wheel drive that day. This was a van, and the car got stuck in the mud. And I would drive a little bit, and it would move a little bit. And I thought if I could just get through this mud, I would be able to get to the other side and maybe get some help. Here's the problem. I didn't make it through that mud as I kept trying. And so I actually spent about 3 hours. I tried and I tried and I tried. And eventually I remembered, I did call 911. So again, I thank God for people who are in law enforcement and who are in first responders, just because there was nobody. I was in the middle of nowhere and I was stuck. So I thought maybe they can help me. And so anyways, I was directed to a certain a place to call, and I did. And then what was interesting is I thought, the quickest thing to do in this case, so because there was actually no, I didn't get a hold of the police department where I was, but I did get a hold of, there was a city hall that I left a message for, but I remembered the people who helped me at the gas station, and I knew that they were not too far away, so I called them, and one of them actually came and helped me. Again, that man was a blessing. I thank God for that opportunity. But what is interesting is I want to pull out a life lesson from that. When I left that gas station, I should have turned the GPS on. I should have followed directions all the way back home. But see, sometimes in life, we want to go our own way. We want to go a certain direction. And if we don't remember that in life, there is a way to live. The Bible teaches us how to live. If we do not follow the principles of the Bible, we will end up in muddy situations. We will be stuck. Now, I'm not saying that following Jesus doesn't come with trials and tribulations. No, it does. And the Bible tells us that those who seek to live godly will be persecuted. But what I'm trying to say is there's unnecessary suffering that we can bring upon ourselves when we don't follow the directions of the one who created the heavens and the earth. He made us, therefore he knows what life is supposed to be about and how we are supposed to live. So if we don't learn how to live and walk in his ways, we will find ourselves in trouble. So I want to encourage you to, first of all, make sure you buy gas if you're in South Dakota as often as possible. And number two, make sure you put your GPS on and make sure that you follow it if you don't know where you're going. But now I bring it to the real life lesson, which is that we need to remember that the Bible teaches us how to live. Jesus says in Matthew 10 and 11, he's talking about, well, in 11, he says, come unto me all ye are heavy laden and I'll give you rest. I'll actually pull up the exact verse for us here. This is, I believe this is either Matthew 10:38 or Matthew 11:38. Sorry, I didn't write that down before I started. I just wanted to pull that up now. So, Matthew 11:28. Come to me all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I'll give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Isn't that interesting? Following Jesus, ultimately you live a life that makes sense and you walk in a path that is not muddy. It's clear because he is the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through him. I want to encourage us to take Jesus seriously, to take his word seriously, and to follow after him. As you go into this week, let's remember to follow the teachings and the principles and what the Bible teaches us on how to live. I pray that you will seek to walk in his ways. God bless you and have a blessed week. Thank you.